Okay, children, in the first audio, we got a glimpse of the room 13 where the first benches were occupied by students who got good marks, and the last benches were occupied by rough and noisy children, and the whole place was muddy and dirty. And we know about three students specifically, that is Peggy and Madeline, who were best friends. And Peggy was very popular, she was pretty, she had pretty clothes, and her hair was curly. And then a new student by name Vanda, who was a bit introvert, who didn't interact well with others. And these children made use of the time to make fun of her when in the break times. Now we move on. Vanda Petronsky. Most of the children in room 13 didn't have names like that. They had names easy to say, like Thomas, Smith, or Alan. There was one boy named Bounce, Willie Bounce, and people thought that was funny, but not funny in the same way that Petronsky was. So that was the first thing that they noted about that girl. Her name, very peculiar, very difficult to say, and quite funny. So that itself attracted them, they made them feel that she was different. Vanda Petronsky, what a name. Okay. Vanda didn't have any friends. She came to school alone and went home alone. She always wore a faded blue dress that didn't hang right. Now, didn't hang right means didn't fit properly. It was clean, but it looked as though it had never been ironed properly. She didn't have any friends, but a lot of girls talked to her. Sometimes they surrounded her in the schoolyard as she stood watching the little girls play hopscotch on the worn hard ground. Now, hopscotch, the meaning is given there, a game in which children hop into and over squares marked on the ground. So she would be standing there and watching little girls play that. Then the other children, some of them, surrounded her. She didn't have any friend in particular. Vanda, Peggy would say in a most courteous manner, as though she were talking to Miss Mason. Miss Mason is their teacher. So very politely, very courteous, in a courteous manner, Peggy would address her, Vanda. Vanda, she would say, giving one of her friends a nudge. Nudge, look at the meaning, a gentle push. Tell us, how many dresses did you say had hanging up in your closet? Now, closet means it is an enclosed space with a door used for storage, particularly that of clothes. Not the other closet that you know. Okay. It is an enclosed space with a door used for storage, particularly that of clothes. So she's asked, how many dresses did you say that you have hanging up in your closet? So from the way she nudged her friend, pushed her, and shows that she wanted to make fun of her with that question. 100, Vanda would say. 100? Exclaimed all the little girls incredulously. Incredulously means showing unwillingness to believe. Oh, quite unbelievable. 100 dresses you have got. Why? Because she always wore the same dress. Then she's boasting that she has got 100 dresses. And the little ones would stop playing hopscotch and listen. Even the little children will listen. Yeah, 100. All lined up, said Vanda. Then her thin lips drew together in silence. What are they like? All silk, I bet, said Peggy. Yeah, all silk, all colors. Velvet too? Yeah, velvet too. 100 dresses. Velvet, you know what material is it, right? Vanda would repeat stolidly. Stolidly means not showing any feeling. Just as casual as that, she will say, yes, 100 dresses. All lined up in my closet. Then they would let her go. And then, before she had gone very far, they couldn't help bursting into shrieks and peals of laughter. You can visualize the situation. A child who has been wearing the same old dress every day, when asked about her dresses, she's saying that I've got 100 all silk lined up in my closet. Naturally, the children will laugh at that, right? So that was an actually spontaneous reaction. They couldn't control their laughter. 100 dresses. Obviously, the only dress Vanda had was the blue one she wore every day. So why did she say she had 100? What a story. How many shoes did you say you had? 60 pairs, all lined up in my closet. Cries of exaggerated politeness greeted this. All alike? Oh no, every pair is different, all colors, all lined up. Peggy, who had thought up this game, and Maddie, her inseparable friend, were always the last to leave. Finally, Vanda would move up the street, her eyes dull and her mouth closed, hitching her left shoulder every now and then in the funny way she had, finishing the walk to school alone. Hitching is actually moved to a different position with a jerk. So maybe the way she walked, the mannerism. Okay, that is the way she walked. Peggy was not really cruel. She protected small children from bullies, and she cried for hours if she saw an animal mistreated. If anybody had said to her, "Don't you think that this is a cruel way to treat Vanda?" she would have been very surprised. Cruel? Why did the girl say she had 100 dresses? Anybody could tell that that was a lie. Why did she want to lie? And she wasn't just an ordinary person. Else, why did she have a name like that? Anyway, they never made her cry. So here the author makes it very clear that from what we have read so far, we get an impression that Peggy is a bit cruel, not compassionate at all. So the author makes it very clear, no, she was not like that. She was very compassionate. She protected small children from bullies. If an animal is ill-treated, she will cry. But then if somebody asks, why, isn't it cruel the way you treat Vanda? Isn't it cruel? She says that why should she say a lie? Why should she tell a lie? Anyone can make out it is a lie. And she cannot be an ordinary person. Her name sounds great, right? So why should she do that? As for Maddie, this business of asking Vanda every day how many dresses and how many hats and how many this and that she had was bothering her. Maddie was poor herself. She usually wore somebody's hand-me-down clothes. Thank goodness she didn't live up on Boggan's Heights or have a funny name. Maddie was a bit affected by this practice of asking Vanda everyday questions like this. Why? Because Maddie herself was very poor and she usually wore somebody's hand-me-down clothes. Look at that, old clothes handed out by someone else. So she herself was like that. So she thought that only difference was that she didn't come from that place. So again, it's very clear that Boggan's Heights is a place everyone could make out that people who live there are very poor and it's a dirty place. Okay. So only difference was that Maddie did not come from that place and she did not have a funny name. Otherwise, she has some similarity with Vanda in her dresses, clothes. Understand? So she felt a bit bad. It's always like that. When you experience something, you will understand the pain of somebody who faces the same situation. Sometimes, when Peggy was asking Vanda those questions in that mocking, polite voice, Maddie felt embarrassed and studied the marbles in the palm of her hand, rolling them around and saying nothing herself. That action, study the marble in the palm of her hand, rolling them around and saying nothing, shows that she didn't want to partake in that. But she, being Peggy's best friend, she had to be there with her. But understand, so that shows that she was not much interested. Not that she felt sorry for Vanda, exactly. She would never have paid any attention to Vanda if Peggy hadn't invented the dressing game. But suppose Peggy and all the others started it on her next. So that was the question. If they can do this to one girl, why can't they do it to her next? Why can't she be the next victim? Why can't they start asking her about her dress? She wasn't as poor as Vanda perhaps, but she was poor. Of course, she would have more sense than to say she had 100 dresses. Okay, she might not tell if somebody has that I have got 100 dresses. Still, she would not like for them to begin on her. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Vanda Petronsky. Okay, we'll stop here today. We'll have the next session in the next audio. Thank you, children.